guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a lovely day today. Now today's video is about timelines merging and collapsing. So what we mean by that is we are living on different timelines at different times throughout this periods. So what has been happening quite recently is timelines have actually been merging together, and some have been collapsing completely, because for evolution to take place, timelines have got to become just opposite of each timeline. That is going to be it. So I vision there being two timelines only, and that's all that's going to be left. Whereas at the minute there's quite a lot of timelines going on which are having to be broken down, and that's what's happening with the emotions, the emotional energies. So I've actually experienced a timeline collapse right in my face. So what happened was, I was at work and I walked into the laundry room to put some laundry into the dryer, and I walked through some open patio doors that had got like a kitchen extension that were built onto it. Now, I was working with my colleague at the time, and my colleague was in the living room, so she was at the other side of the patio doors. So I went in, I put the washing into the dryer, and I walked in back into the living room, into my colleague. Now, we were talking, laughing, and we were waiting for the dryer to finish, and she got up and went to walk into the hallway as I said, "Oh, I need to go grab the things out of the dryer," knowing that the patio doors were wide open. So in that very moment, I turned around quickly to run through the patio doors, and the patio doors were shut, and my face hit the patio doors. It felt like somebody had literally lifted me out of my body and slammed me into the patio doors, and my face hit the patio doors full pelt. No word of a lie, guys, it hurt so much. And as I looked up, there was no extension on the house. It was like, this is crazy. Just as that happened, my colleague come running in, and she was like, "What's going on? What just happened?" She could not believe it, because I hit it with such a bang, such a bang. And I turned around and I said to her, "Did you shut these doors?" And she said, "No, they were open." And we both looked up, and the extension was back and the doors were open. And it was like, this is the most surreal experience that's ever happened to me, because the house physically changed what it actually looked like because of that extension. So that extension had been built at a later time. So what had happened is we'd gone into a timeline where that extension had not been built, and then patio doors were shut. And I did feel like something literally picked me up and threw me against the patio doors. And I have felt numerous times things of the dark, because you know the dark's not going to accept the light to just come in. It's going to want to try and get rid of anything that wants to bring the light in. So there has been times, one time I was sat, I was working, doing some candles, because I enjoyed making candles, and I went to sell some, and I'm not sure if I've talked about this in a different video, and I was sat, decided to go to a market stall to try and, like, you know, go and promote these candles. So whilst I was sat in the market stall, it was raining quite heavy, and it was like a conservatory. So we put some bin liners on the roof to try and stop the rain dripping all over the candles. Now what happened is this bin liner got quite full of water, and I was sat at the, I was just sat there, and the next minute was like I was full pulled across the table, head first, and the bin liner just collapsed at the back of my head. Now, if that water had have hit me, it would have been really hard, and the water just exploded all over the floor. And people, as the bin liner went to drop, everybody looked up at the bin liner who was sat around me, because they knew the energy took them to look at the bin liner, but something pushed me forward to make sure that that water didn't hit me. So we are protected, we are always protected. And another thing, the other day, I went to drive my car and I went to go up to this shop, and it was on a bend, and I was turning right, so I was just sat waiting to get into a right turn, when suddenly I looked through my mirror and saw a wagon coming at the back of me, and that wagon must have been doing like 80 miles an hour. And I saw him slam his brakes on, and he literally, if that wagon had have hit me, it would have wiped me out. I've got such a little car, and it's the divine that just stops it. I mean, I sit there, I just know that it's not going to hit me because I know that I'm fully protected, but it was within a hairline of my car that wagon stopped. And it happens constantly. That to me, it's just like the norm. I just think if it's your time, it's your time. Then it's your time. Do you know, I ain't got any animosity or nothing. I'm just like, whatever, if that's going to happen, that is absolutely going to happen. So yeah, so back to the timelines then. So another time, this was really weird. When I was a child and I was about 7-year-old, I used to talk with an absolute short tongue. Now, my short tongue was the worst, and I couldn't say sausages. That's how I said it, sausages. And what happened is I was talking to someone, and just as I was talking to him, the timeline switched and I went back into that child timeline. Now, I've spent years practicing to not use that short tongue, you know, to come away from it. And anytime I said my S's, that's, you can see I'm actually hiding the way that I say it, because I stopped myself being able to use my tongue. But as a child, I didn't know that I could do that. So as timeline switch, I went back, and I knew that I was as a child, because my short tongue, I could not stop it. And it was like, so if you want some sausages, and I could not stop it. And that's when I knew that I'd actually gone into another timeline, but in a timeline with my speech, because I've actually corrected or tried to correct my speech throughout the years to stop me using that short tongue. And I just could not stop using that short tongue. And it was like, I need to get out of whatever timeline I'm in. So that was another instance of switching timelines where I was just like, I know this is a child. That is me as a child, because it's taken me back to a child's timeline. And another time, I mean, it's probably been happening to your guys often. If you're watching this video, you're usually thinking, this is happening to me. So it could be that somebody makes a decision in your life. So somebody asks me, oh, can you pick up Thursday and Sunday? Phone me up, can you pick them up? Yeah. And work? Yeah, not a problem. 3 days later, the same person phoned me up, can you pick up Thursday? I said, you've already asked me to pick up Thursday and Sunday. No, I haven't. I said, no, but you have. No, I haven't, and I can't have done. I said, no, you have. You've already asked me, you phoned me. No, I haven't. And she's like, I can't have done, because I've already had that covered like ages. Why would I have done that? And I was like, but you have. And at the time, I asked you to change it on the system, which evidences this has happened. And she went back and looked, and she was like, what is going on? What is going on? It's like I'm going to do something and I've already done it, or somebody's already done it for me. And that's what I found, is people are asking me to do something, but then asking me to do the same thing, but then it can be slightly different. And that's where I think people as well switch timelines, and we think, you've already told me that story. I've already had that conversation with you, and they've forgotten. And that's because you were probably switching timelines at that time. And that's what I've been finding a lot throughout this evolution, because timelines are breaking down. And what happens is, when a timeline breaks down, it's almost as if your head absolutely crashes. You feel like, it feels like so heavy in your head and painful, and then it just crashes. And you feel it like the head has just dropped, and you think, wow. It's like, you know, you watch these cartoon characters where the head just like just fizzles. That's what it feels like when a timeline burns out. So that is what's happening to us, guys. So you can feel the timelines, you can feel them splitting, and you can feel them changing. And I'm not sure what might have happened to you. I mean, I know I mentioned before about things going missing. You put a cup down, you'll go to get it, it's gone. You go to get some money that you put in cupboard that you know for a fact you put there, it's gone. And that's because we're doing timeline splits, and that's where we are switching. But we've been doing it all as life, we just hadn't really noticed it. We're noticing it a lot more now because we're in this spiritual awakening, and we're like, oh gosh, this is just the timeline split. And I've started to get used to it. I actually laugh at it now, especially when people are doing it, and I just think, I can see what you're doing now. It's just the timeline split, and I'm not going to go out and try and embarrass you in this timeline split. I'm just going to try and like get through it as fast as I can for myself and for you. So yeah, guys, so timelines are happening, timelines are splitting. I do believe that the timelines, like I say, I were going back to a child timeline. So going back to a child timeline, and now I'm an adult, you know, and we're not talking adult, we're talking like 40 years later of what I'd gone back. That shows me that timelines are breaking down from our childhoods, and you know, this is part of the awakening, it's part of the evolution, and it's what it is what it is. So with that, guys, said, please do like, please subscribe, please leave comments, please tell me what's happening to you, know, because I don't believe that this is just happening to me, because spiritual awakenings are happening all over the world. So please do leave comments and let me know what's going on. And yeah, I look forward to you talking to you in another video. Take care for now.